Hi, welcome to the FilmCrop channel. Today I'm going to explain about an action comedy film from 2020 called Exit Fat Dragon. Please support me with a like and a comment. That way you can help the channel grow. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. Fallon Ju is an ordinary Hong Kong policeman. He makes a video call to his wife-to-be, who is starring in a movie and is going to take her wedding photo. The girl asks him to wear the fancy suit she bought for him. Fallon has to withdraw money from the bank, but at the same moment bandits show up at the bank and start robbing. Fallon imagines tackling the robbers, but ends up failing and almost getting shot. The alarm goes off and the bandits have to flee the bank. They get into Fallon's partner's car, holding him at gunpoint. Fallon manages to get a hold of the railing on the roof of the car and struggles not to fall. The bandits start shooting up the roof, but Fallon doesn't care. He gets to the driver and incapacitates the car, then literally flies inside and scatters the villains into the corners of the car. They try in every way to grab their guns, but they get nothing but blows from the cop. The driver still finds the strength to drive on and Fallon drops the criminals on the pavement. The last remaining bandit is insanely aggressive and lunges at the policeman with a knife, but he disarms him. Right in front of their fight, a car pulls up with a reporter from one of the channels. His boss calls him and tells him that the show doesn't have enough viewers, so the reporter gives the criminal a hammer, making it difficult for Fallon. On the other side, another reporter's car pulls up and tries to interview him too, but they fail. They run a red light and one of the reporter's cars flips over. The policeman finally knocks out the violent criminal and gets behind the wheel. But here's the problem, the brakes don't work. The car crashes into the police station, nearly killing the captain, but still Fallon coped with the criminals. At home he is told off by his girlfriend for what happened. She doesn't like him getting into trouble, but since he is one of the best, Fallon just couldn't help but intervene in that situation. Especially since his friend was among the hostages. She throws a violent tantrum, which results in her falling to the floor and injuring her arm. She is taken away by an ambulance, leaving him alone. Fallon Ju has to leave his job and is transferred elsewhere. What happens now? His wife has left him, his beloved job is gone. While traveling with his friend, they discuss how their lives are shaping up and the friend asks him to leave things as they are. Fallon continues to work as a security guard, snacking on any stress with a ton of chips. He is slowly gaining weight. His wife still has no plans to return to him, and he gets even fatter. Shortly after his birthday, Fallon is assigned an important job, to relocate one of the victims of a bank robbery. His name is Yuji. The policeman agrees. He meets his ex-girlfriend Chloe on the plane. She notices how much weight he has gained. They have a nice conversation, but the moment Fallon invites her to dinner, her client shows up and looks over at the guy the policeman is transporting. They arrive in Japan, where they are met by other cops. Right in the bathroom, Yuji is attacked by a bandit with a knife and starts running away from the criminal without his pants on. He clings to a truck naked and escapes from Fallon. The policeman reports this to his friend the captain and tries to figure out how to find him. The Japanese policeman says he has lost track of the runaway guy. How to find him now? Fallon meets his old friend Xiao. The Japanese cop turns out to be in cahoots with the mafia and is going to take the escaped guy to them. Xiao and Fallon go to visit him. Xiao notices that the mafia breaks into the establishment below his house and demands repayment. The landlady has no intention of paying the mobsters and a scuffle breaks out in the restaurant. The mob attacks Xiao, but after a couple of minutes, a young bicycle man rides up and helps Xiao. Fallon hears the noise from the street and cuts up a couple of bandits. But as soon as he notices the backup, he immediately goes in pursuit. He runs through the buildings like Spider-Man and locks the criminals in a building. The police arrive, but they are not going to arrest anyone and let the mob out of the house. Fallon goes into shock. The mob, meanwhile, tortures a fellow adult film director who has been captured by them. It turns out that while filming one of the movies, he accidentally filmed their shady dealings, and now they have him on their payroll. Fallon questions Xiao, trying to find out what it was, to which he replies that the neighborhood is held by yakuza. The restaurant owner chases them away. Xiao says that he and Fallon are alike. Two broken hearts. The next day, a policeman is called to the scene of Yuji's death. The mob faked his death from an alleged drug overdose. They arrive at the guy's apartment to search everything, but just as Fallon finds a lead, Xiao is attacked by a dog hiding in a corner. Fallon, like a decent cop, can't beat her and locks her in a closet. The restaurant owner's nephew fixes the broken phone he found. Fallon and Xiao go on the trail of their investigation to an event where Chloe participates. And backstage there is a drug transfer going on. The mob has put bags of drugs in the fish that Xiao brought with him. He was enjoying the fish so much that he didn't notice the contents and became very cheerful. Right in the warehouse, a scuffle ensues, with Fallon throwing criminals around in his style and Xiao riding a truck. The criminals are advancing more and more, until their scramble finally comes to a climax, with Xiao driving out of the warehouse right into the event itself and crashing into the podium. The mob freaks out and tries to figure out what's wrong, and Fallon arrives on the scene with a mob of criminals. He turns to the reporters and asks for some help from the police, but no one comes, because they are controlled by the yakuza. Chloe comes down from the stage and begs Fallon to stop, for the main mobster is her customer Shimakura. There is a dramatic dialogue between them, in which Chloe manages to get through to her former lover. She doesn't need his care so much as she needs his respect. The cops arrive on the scene. There's hope. But these are the same Japanese cops, who also take a bow to the main mafioso and his grandfather. Fallon has to go with them to the car, and the mobster calms the people down. Fallon looks out of the car at Chloe, now so far away from him. Fallon begins to think and recalls all the words he has heard from people in his life. Everyone has told him that he is no Superman, he is just an ordinary cop who can't stand his ground all the time. He has flashed thoughts of really giving up, stopping standing his ground, stopping caring so much about everyone and chasing justice. There is nothing he can do about the situation either. The Japanese police even know about the drugs, but they can't do anything about it, because they have no evidence. Chloe thinks about everything, too, while the yakuza are having fun. Xiao talks to her beloved restaurant owner. She wants to go back to Hong Kong with her nephew. Xiao can't believe it, because he waited 10 years for her in Japan. 10 years just for her. They figure things out all over the street until Fallon helps them out. He speaks his mind from the sidelines, which helps the couple. Suddenly determination comes over him and he changes into discreet black clothes and runs to fix his life. He calls Chloe and meets her on the bridge. They go to dinner at the Noodle Cafe, have a good drink and have a good time. Fallon tries to talk to her, but Chloe asks him to be quiet and suddenly starts talking to him herself. She says she agrees with what he said the day they fought. Fallon promises that he will quit the police force and open his own noodle restaurant just to get the girl back to him. They embrace, but suddenly a classic Japanese earthquake starts and everyone lies on the floor. Fallon embraces his beloved, and when the earthquake is over, he checks on each customer with special care. Chloe can't take her eyes off him and is silent. She realized that he would never stop being a policeman, then he would be unhappy. Many more people in this world will need him, but she is not one of them. Fallon is left alone. He gets a phone call while Shimakura tries to get his grandfather to sign important papers. Grandfather realizes that his grandson wants to trick him and does not agree. Grandfather's guards try to stop Shimakura, but he draws his sword and kills the man. The grandfather signs the papers and the bandit kills his own grandfather, too. All this is seen by Chloe, who happened to drop by to say hello to Shimakura. She is frightened and starts running away from the madman, but he catches up with her and throws her to the floor. The girl gets up and hits him, managing to smash a vase over her head. The restaurant owner's nephew manages to make that very video available after all. Xiao sees that this tape is the very proof of the yakuza's crimes. Meanwhile, a mob of bandits is already following Xiao, but one of his employees steals his jacket and phone and tries to escape. He thinks he's going to get rich with this recording. But that's not the case. The restaurant owner knocks him out with a frying pan and takes the phone. Xiao quickly explains to her that it is valuable evidence, and if they bring it to the police, the yakuza will go to jail and they won't have to close the restaurant. The woman runs away with the phone, and Xiao tries her best to protect her. A terrible knife fight ensues, in which Xiao bravely sacrifices her life. Xiao manages to get stabbed, but Fallon arrives on the scene just in time to send the bandits crashing to their deaths. A big scuffle breaks out, in which the policeman, as usual, manages to jump on the roofs of buildings and deal with all the villains. The police arrive on the scene and the same nasty Japanese policeman arrives. He, as usual, lets the yakuza off the hook and says everyone is free to go. Fallon walks up and starts to make his point again. The policeman tries to argue something, but Fallon throws his drink out of his hand and starts pushing, accusing him of being the reason that the director is dead. The police arrive on the scene and try to catch Fallon, but he masterfully climbs into a gap between buildings and the nasty cop gets hit by a car at high speed. Fallon gets a call from Chloe, but when he picks up the phone, he sees Shimakura calling him and telling him that Chloe will fly off the Tokyo Tower if he doesn't get to the tower in time. Fallon quickly arrives on the scene with the phone containing the evidence. Shimakura immediately shoots him, but the bullet goes through. Fallon takes advantage of this, grabs a gun from one of the bandits and shoots the others. A fight begins with Shimakura himself. He frantically attacks Fallon, but he manages to guard his wife, while simultaneously kicking the villain's ass and hurling him from corner to corner until he finally sends him into the glass. Suddenly, a helicopter appears near the tower, with a police captain and friend of Fallon sitting in it, along with the nasty cop's interpreter. She says that the video has already been posted on the internet to all the sites. At this point, Shimakura comes to his senses and attacks Fallon, grabbing a sai. Fallon runs away from him, jumping around the tower until Chloe throws him nunchucks. The helicopter with the police captain keeps losing control, and nearly falls over. Shimakura begs for mercy and attacks Fallon from behind. Fallon finishes off the bandit and is left alone with Chloe, who throws herself at him and kisses Fallon, crying and hugging him. The police captain drops a ladder for them and saves the couple.